I feel like Web 101, I've been saying the following thing a ton here in chapter 5, and I have been. It's that I want to take a little bit of a side sortie here. The idea here in chapter 5, and this is on page 168, is the idea of an image map. This used to be something we would do and I mean this as we being web developers, and would do, I mean this in like 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, we're using the text to kind of pull us through the various epochs of web design. So a very, very long time ago, what we would have to do is, if we wanted you to click on an image, and let's say that this is the image that we have, this side of the image would take you to one page, this side of the image would take you to another. This side of the image was like, vote yes for Earth's destruction. This side of the image was, no, trees are pretty neat, don't blow up the Earth, right? So we have those two things, and what we could do is map out this one image and say that this side of the image with, this many pixels across by this many pixels down was this hyperlink. The rest of the image, this many pixels wide by this many pixels down, would go to a different anchor for our hyperlink. And we can still do that here, and I will just show you this completely useless example of this here. This is on page 169 in the textbook. So what you see here is a sample image map. We are saying that at 24 pixels by 188, that's where we start this image, or the map of this image. Then we go across by 339 pixels, down by 283 pixels, and what we get is a clickable area for this image. That doesn't make any sense. We don't use them this way for the most part. We do not use them this way in web design. Now, however, the idea of an image sprite is something that we do use. So I want to show you an example here of an Amazon image sprite. So the idea here goes as follows. If you were to go to Amazon.com, on that page, when it is done loading, you would have hundreds of images. Now, as a web consumer, you would identify, and your unknown potential future client would identify, that as a consumer of that web page, there's just a few images, right? So there's an image in the middle. Let's say you're not on a machine that you've already signed into, right? You would get a couple of images for whatever they're trying to sell for the day. So probably there would be a big banner on top that says, fashion something. They would send you over to go buy that. There would be new music. They would send you over there. There would be new releases for like Prime Video. They would send you over there. But as a web developer, I know that is only a small fraction of the images on that page. So over here, if you look behind me, these are some of the images that are on everybody's Amazon.com homepage. You can see those button images behind me for Shop All Departments. Then there's another image for Shop All Departments when your mouse is hovering over it. There's the little Shop All Departments with the check mark box in there, indicating that you're already in there. You can see that there's the cart images behind us. So an empty cart, a one item, a multiple item cart. There's also the cart when you have your mouse over it. So the hover cart. There's the non-hover portion of that. There's about a half a dozen different Amazon Prime logos on there. This is really just a portion of the sprite. So a sprite is one image that you can map out so that you can display multiple images. But let me tell you what the real benefit here is to having an image map and a sprite. So this is referred to as a sprite. The difference is from the actual server side of things. If I was to serve each one of you in class, we have usually, if I was to do this in a classroom, we would have 24 of you in there. So I would say, everybody go to Amazon.com. And at that moment, every one of us would go to Amazon.com. So that's 24 plus me, 25. It makes for easy math. Let's say there are 100 images on this sprite. Honestly, there would be many, many more than 100 images here, because you can see just how many images Amazon has to serve to everybody. If we did this as individual images, let's just say it's 100 images per page. There are 25 students, and when we come through and we click on Amazon.com, it has to serve requests for 2,500 individual images all at the same time. The only way to do that is top to bottom, left to right, in that order exclusively. So it starts with the first image, goes to the second image, goes to the third image, goes to the fourth image, and has to serve all of those individually. That takes a lot of server resources. That takes a lot of server time. The benefit to having a sprite, one image that it can serve one time and then map that image out so that the individual images show where they're supposed to, is tremendous. Instead of serving 2,500 requests for images, we can cut that down by a factor of 100. So our server, instead of being busy with 2,500 requests, only has to serve 25. And that's a huge, huge, huge reduction in, number one, the amount of requests that you have to fulfill, which reduces, number two, the amount of time it takes to fulfill those requests, which, number three, means that each individual who went to get that page served to them sees their page load faster, which if a page loads faster, your unknown potential future client is going to be happier with the result. So that all happens here in chapter 5 with the idea of the image map, which is useless to you the way it's presented. The sprite, in the way it's presented, relatively useless to you. But what I will tell you is having an image sprite that we can map out, that we can provide one slightly larger request as opposed to 2,500 slightly smaller requests, turns out saving a ton of time from a server's perspective, which you as a web designer and developer will have to, be cognizant of. So now you're cognizant of it.